What's good, my great smelling dudes? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude, back at you with another first impression of my most anticipated designer fragrance release of 2025, at least so far. Told you guys that since January 1st. I knew it was coming out, and I thought it was supposed to come out March 1st, but Givenchy on their website released it a little bit early. So just an FYI. But before we get into it, make sure to hit the subscribe button, help your brother out, hit that like, comment below. Let me know if you're interested in trying this fragrance out, if it sounds good, all that good stuff. But as far as this line is concerned, I'll get into that. I'll also get into, because I'm trying to figure out which one's which, but I'll tell you how to figure out which one's which as well, because they look very, very similar. And I also want to discuss the line. So it's very similar to that of like Acqua di Gio versus Acqua di Gio Absolute, Absolute Instinct, where it was a flanker line. But I would say it's more comparable to the Wanted line versus the Most Wanted subline, where they started with the Most Wanted and then they started with that Most Wanted DNA with the Parfum, and then back to the Eau de Toilette Intense, using that Most Wanted DNA, but still being compared in that Wanted line. Well, there's the Givenchy Gentleman line that's been out for a while. It ended with Reserve Privé. And then they came out with this subline, which is still considered in the Givenchy Gentleman line. This is Givenchy Gentleman Society. This is the Eau de Parfum, so they didn't start out with a Eau de Toilette. The Eau de Parfum, as you can tell, it has this silver Givenchy symbol inside there. That'll come up in a second. With that said, this fragrance is very simplistic. It was built around a little bit of this kind of like orris butter and Palo Santo and vanilla. And Palo Santo is almost like a sandalwood-esque. It's a woody style fragrance note that has a little bit of a creaminess, a little bit of a powdery sweetness. It's a little bit warmer too. And then you had that vanilla. It was very, very nice fragrance, but it didn't really do much for anybody. So the most wearable one so far in the line compared to the next one, as far as being an anytime fragrance, is just very easy wear, similar to that of like Prada L'Homme, Gentleman, Eau de Toilette Intense. It's a very easy wear fragrance, again, based around that orris and the vanilla and Palo Santo. And then we go to the next one, which was this one. This was the Extreme. How do you tell the difference? The Givenchy symbol is more of like a graphite black versus the chrome. And you knew with the Eau de Parfum, if they were going to flanker off any of the Gentlemen's, it was this one. And when you start with a DNA that is like a 7.5 to a 7.8 itself, you know you got something special. And then they come out with this. This one is a complement magnet. Gentleman Society Extreme. Took the original's DNA, smoothened it out, made it a little bit warmer, made it a little bit richer, added this kind of cold brew note, which just comes off like roasted coffee, and it blends into the fragrance so beautifully. It's still has the Palo Santo, still has the vanilla, it has the coffee. I mean, put all those notes together, and it's just a bit richer, a bit smoother. It's just an all-around. They did downplay the orris, the iris. It's kind of like gone at this point in time. So once you get to this one, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same, because I don't even think they have it in the note breakdown for the new Ambree, but that's Gentleman Society Extreme. It's a fantastic fragrance. I'd give that like an 8.5 to a 9. It was one of the best, if not the best, fragrance of last year. Now, we're going into this one. This is the one we're talking about today, first impressions of Givenchy Gentleman Society Ambree. Again, this is the box. It is an Eau de Parfum 100 milliliter. I believe, yeah, Eau de Parfum. I got the 100 milliliter. I sprayed this on again. I got really excited about an hour and 20 minutes ago, and I sprayed it on. And I have to tell you, this stuff is fantastic. The only way you can tell the bottle difference, again, look at the Givenchy symbol. This one is like an ambery gold. So, how does this one smell? All I know is that I opened up the box, I sprayed it on, and I looked at it, and I was like, "You're all I ever wanted." Because this stuff is just so freaking good. I am in love with this stuff. I mean, I'm in love with the Extreme too, but I think this might beat it out. So if you wanted to do a true flanker off of the one previous, so it doesn't have the coffee from the extreme, but it has that warm richness. It's closer to the extreme than the original. The iris is gone. But in the opening, if you wanted to do a true flanker that's based on the name of the fragrance, Ambree, which is amber, that's what this is. The opening is a warm, balsamic, rich amber mixed together with that richness and that Palo Santo, which in this fragrance kind of comes off a slight bit woody, warm, vanillic, but it smells like there is a bit of vanilla in this as well. Cool weather fragrance, but can be worn, I would say, spring and fall nights as well. But it has a little bit of spice underneath it, but literally it's take the Givenchy Gentleman Society Extreme, take that DNA and push it down, and then put this beautiful, warm, rich, balsamic amber that reminds me of the amber from something like, I don't know, Grand Soir. It doesn't have that like lavender vanilla mixture of Grand Soir, but literally picture like that balsamic-y, ambery tone from Grand Soir, from MFK, and then push it on top of this, of the Givenchy Gentleman Society Extreme. And that's what you have for the first like 15 minutes of the fragrance, with a little bit of like a slight tobacco tone underneath the fragrance. Not a dry leafy tobacco, more of like a moist tobacco. But again, I'm at like an hour and 20 minutes, and I can say this fragrance just gets better and better. The amber starts taking over a bit more. That tobacco starts to creep up. You still have that Palo Santo giving a little bit of a sweet and spicy nuance in there. Almost like a cinnamon. I think there was leather in the note breakdown. If there is leather in this fragrance, it's very subdued, soft, supple, more of a suede-ish leather. But it's really, really downplayed, and it doesn't come in until about 45 minutes or so, and it's just a small amount of it. You can notice the tobacco, though. You have to dig your nose in, and you have to be somebody who can pick out notes easily to notice the tobacco, because the way that it's blended together with the amber and the fact that it's more of like a moist tobacco and less of a leafy tobacco, like a Stronger With You tobacco, where it's more of like a dry leafy pipe tobacco. This is more of like a Parfums de Marly Herod tobacco, but like drawn down. Wow, this stuff is so fucking good. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna spray it on my other hand just to get another feel of the opening. I love this stuff. So the first, like, now that I'm spraying it again, like the first, like, I'd say 2 or 3 minutes of the fragrance, you do get a little bit more of the Givenchy Gentleman DNA, but you can still tell it's different. But it's as it starts to dry, you notice that tobacco. You notice a little bit of that soft and supple suede-ish leather. You notice there's a little bit of spice. And I'm trying to nitpick here because this fragrance is amazing. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. I think it's one of the best releases that I've smelled in years. Designer, the quality is top notch in this. I don't expect much less from Givenchy. They've always been a higher tier designer to me. This is the best one they've released. This is the best of any of the Givenchy Gentlemen's. And this is one of my favorites too. I just got it in. Givenchy Gentlemen's Casual Chic. Only Casual Chic. I gotta tell you, this is probably the best Givenchy fragrance that has ever been released. Yeah, that's great. Warm, rich, seductive, alluring. It has like a nice blend where it's not too powdery. It's not too creamy. There is that balsamic ambery tone, a little bit of a powdery vanilla, but then you squash them together and it kind of eliminates too much of the creaminess, too much of the balsamic tones, too much of the powder, and it just blends it so perfectly. Super smooth. Has a masculine tone to it because of that suede and tobacco in the background. Even on this spray, I'm getting more tobacco on this second turn around. That is amazing. That is amazing, amazing, amazing. I can't wait to get a full review on this stuff. My wife is going to love this. She loves the Extreme. She said it's one of her favorite fragrances. I think that she might still like the Extreme better just because of her taste. But I know people are going to go crazy for this stuff. This stuff is amazing. As far as at an hour and 20 minutes, is it pushing out? Yeah, it's still pushing out. Is it pushing out heavy? No, I'd say it's still like moderate, like 3 feet or so, which isn't terrible. It's not like elixir status or anything like that. But with that said, I really don't care. This smells amazing. It's just, it's fantastic. You're going to get compliments galore with this stuff. If you liked the Extreme, try this out. Even if you didn't like the Extreme, try this out. It smells great. That is the new Givenchy Gentleman's Society Ambree. I'm so excited that I got it in. I'm so sorry that I'm just getting really excited about it because it is really freaking good. I'll be back with my full review in about 10. I swear to goodness, I have about 30 fragrances to come back and do my full review on. And I'm probably going to have to wait for this one, Hawas Fire, just because of the fact that I have so many reviews to do. I have 5 recorded ones already. I don't know. But this is taking time. I love it. I love it. It's the best release of the year so far. Givenchy Gentleman's Society Ambree. Yeah. I was not let down. Thank you, Givenchy. So, anyway, it's a pretty much any season fragrance besides summer. You might be able to get away with it 60-degree nights. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back with another one. Peace out.